Hi guys. So I'm back for this time puzzle 1 of the series of videos I wanna published on retrograde analysis. So this is the puzzle 1. I recall that it's white to play, and the question is how many moves to checkmate the black king. If you didn't see the previous video and if you didn't have time to actually think about this problem, you can pause the video and try to solve it by yourself. Now, let's see the solution. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the analyzer and we're gonna try to solve this. How many moves to checkmate the black king? Of course, there is a trap. I recall that this is a puzzle of retrograde analysis, so basically you have to try to know what was the previous black move. If you don't check this, of course you can play rook a6, check, only one possible move, and the white queen checkmate in a6. So you can checkmate in 2 moves actually with this sequence. But of course this is not the solution. You can checkmate actually in 1 move. So you can do better than this. But for this you need to study the position. And the question is, what was the last move played by black? So first we're gonna remove some moves played by the knight and the bishop. It's really easy to see. This knight in c8 couldn't come from a7, b6, d6, e7. So the last move of black was not made with this knight. It was not. Oh, wait a second. It was not with this knight either, because the only way to go in a8 was from c7. But if the black knight was in c7, it means that the white king was actually in check when black played knight c7 to a8. So it's not possible. I recall that, of course, when you are playing, it's not possible that your opponent is in check. For the same reasons, both black bishop couldn't move at the previous move, because this bishop is blocked on the 4 directions, and this bishop could come only from g8. But in g8, the white king would be in check, so it's not possible either. Okay, so the last black move was made by a pawn or the king. We can easily remove the pawn in e5, because the only way to arrive in e5 was from e6. But again, the white king would have been in check in e6, so the last black move cannot be pawn e6 to e5. So it's basically a king move, d6, d7, d6, or c7, d6, taking a piece. It could be also, It could be also c6, c5, but it's not possible for the same reason. The white king would have been in check. So it could be c7, c5, and it could be a black king move. So we have c7, c5 possible. We have also d7 taking a piece, c7 taking a piece in d6, and we have d7, d6. the king, of course, oh, wait. The king couldn't come from c6 because two kings are never on adjacent squares, and it couldn't come also from a6 because in a6 it would have been in check by the rook in a5 and by the pawn in b5, and it was not possible for white to make this double check because the two pieces are too close. If the rook wasn't there, it means that the rook was, for instance, there and took a piece in a5 check, but then the black king was already in check by the pawn in b5. And if the pawn was, let's say, there and go in b5 check, it means that the black king was already in check by the rook. So this is not possible. Okay, so the last move of black can actually be 4 moves. King c7 to b6, pawn c7 to c5, or pawn d7, d6, or c7 taking a piece in d6. We're going to try to remove 3 of these 4 moves. Okay. We're going to first remove maybe d7 to d6. If the last move of black was d7 to d6, it means that the bishop, the black bishop, which started in c8, couldn't leave c8, and it means that the white piece took it on c8. So the black bishop on h7 is a promoted bishop. So it means that the pawn, which started in h7, was promoted, let's say in h1, and then the bishop goes from h1 to h7. But this is not possible. Why? Because actually the bishop in f6 is a promoted bishop, because this bishop started if this bishop started on f8, as you can see, it couldn't leave f8 because we still have a pawn in e7 and a pawn in g7. So we know that this bishop in f6 is a promoted bishop. So h7, the pawn which started in h7, had to go to g1 to be promoted in a bishop of black squares, and then the bishop could go in f6. So if the last move was d7, d6, it means that both bishops are promoted, but only one black pawn is missing. So this is not possible. Okay, so the last move couldn't be d6, d7, d6. Now we have maybe, let's say, king c7, b6. Let's study this. If this is the last move, as you can see, the black king was in check by the knight in e8. But this knight couldn't come from d6, f6, g7. So it means that this knight is actually a promoted knight. Like, let's say that the position was something like this. And white took the queen there, promoted in a knight, check, and then the black king could go in b6. But let's study the position. If we were like this, how many pieces this pawn had to take? As you can see, the pawn which is actually missing is the pawn of column A. So it's 1, 2, 3. 3 pieces had to be taken by pawns there. It could be only with the pawn which started in A, but it could also, like, the one started in A took 1 and the one started in B took 2. But it means 3 pieces taken by the pawns. what are the black pieces that are actually missing? Well, it's even 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's four pieces taken. 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces taken. Actually, 4 pieces are missing for black. But we know that one of these pieces couldn't be taken by this weapon since it's a promoted bishop. So the point which actually started in h7 wasn't taken by these pawns, and the promoted bishop wasn't taken also, and of course one bishop was taken on f8. So this is not possible to have 4 pieces to be taken by this pawn. So this is not possible. It's too many captures. So we have only c7, c5, and c7 took a piece in d6. Let's consider this. c7 takes d6. And we're gonna again count the number of captures, but this time the captures of black. So it's 1 capture, okay? But also to be in c5, this pawn had to make at least 1 capture, so it's 2 capture, but also the pawn in e5 had to make a capture there, okay? So it's 3 captures. How many pieces are missing for white? So it's only 3. So 3 pieces are missing for white, and if the last move is c7 taking d6, this 3 pawn, 1, 2, 3, had to make the 3 captures. But you need to remember something. The pawn which started in h7 was promoted in g1 to be a bishop of dark squares. So it means that the pawn which started in h7 had to make also a capture. So it makes 4 captures, but only 3 white pieces are actually missing on the board. So this is not possible anymore. So it leaves us with only one possible last move for black. The last black move was c7, c5. So it means that white can play b5 takes en passant checkmate in one move. So this was the solution of this problem. White could checkmate in one move with this capture. Okay, so you can tell me in the comment if you had the solution or not, and I will leave you with the second puzzle. And I have even 2 versions of this puzzle. The first version is this one. Can white steal castle? So in this position, it means that theoretically, is it still possible for white to castle or not? I let you think about this, and you can also tell me in the comment if you find the solution. And I have an even, I guess, harder version of this problem, which is actually this one. The question is the same, and the pieces are almost at the same place, but not really. And the question, well, as I said, the question is the same. Can white steal castle? So in this position, again, can white steal castle? So you have the version A and the version B. I guess the version B is a little harder than version A. And the question is, can white steal castle? So, well, tell me in the comment if you find the solution, and see you soon for the solution of these 2 problems, version A, version B. And I will give you puzzle number 3. Well, hope you liked it. Bye bye.